So
as long as she can see everything, that's the important thing. Because
yeah, she was seeing us.
And the mix is back. Or yeah, the mix is back up too. I don't know what that was, but me unplugging and plugging back in seemed to make a difference. All right, where was I? Oh.
You and your sparkly pants. No.
Yeah. Well, that was frustrating as anything. That's a link has been added to your video, giving Viral Hog credit for something that they own.
Oh, I bet they're trying to snag you.
Nah. I don't think it was that. I think it's something with the... Anyway, so here's what this is what the motorcycle looks like with the top on it. This would be perfect for you.
Oh, that is cool.
It is actually...
It's better than garbage bags.
It'll get 100 miles to the charge, I think, is what it was. Because what I did was I went to the site, and I decided I was going to figure out how much this BMW is costing. And actually, I searched for the BMW Evolution, and it came out to $14,000. So
wow,
that's really, I mean, a motorcycle can be more and less of that, depending on what you get in the motorcycle. So, it's not a horrible price when you consider if you ride it, it's a good deal. But it's another one of those things that if you don't use it, it's not worth the money. So, anyway, I found that to be interesting, along with the Elon Musk stuff. But the other thing is Toyota is not done with the Prius yet. Now, the Prius numbers, when I first had my Prius, were pretty high. But what happened was, in the past couple years, back when I bought mine, we were approaching $5 a gallon for gas. And we were going up to Long Island all the time, and it just was a very expensive expensive thing. So I bought a Prius, and I loved the Prius, and I still love my Prius. But now people aren't as picky because they're paying they're paying under $3 a gallon.
Anywhere from $2.72 to $2.82 unless you're in Virginia, and then it's $2.49.
Okay, and people are willing to pay that. So
we have to.
But they're not slowing down their purchases of gas, is what I'm saying. So they want to buy, they'll buy the hybrid. What?
Ashley says, see, I am an assistant. I help. Do I get more zeros on my paycheck? LOL.
Everybody wants zeros. It's like there are only a finite number of zeros to give. So, anyway, so the deal is that people are buying the hybrids, but they're buying, instead of buying the most efficient hybrid, which is the Prius yet, they're buying bigger hybrids, like the Corolla, the different cars that are out there. Prius sales have been on a 6-year losing streak and lags behind the Ford Fusion, as which of course the Ford has canceled that Fusion. But they're now going. A lot of people are buying the RAV4, and the RAV4 is a lot nicer car, a lot bigger. It's an all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive or a rear-wheel drive, depending which version you get. But it's been the better, even though it only gets 33 miles to the gallon. People are buying it to save gas money when they could be getting.
Well, either that, or if they're, depending on the size of their families, or maybe they're hauling like a camper or a boat or something. You can't really do it with a Prius. A Prius is too small for that. So they think, well, I'll go for like the RAV4, but I'll get the hybrid one. So I'm really being...
They're not really helping a whole lot with it.
No, but they're trying. In their head, they are.
They're gaining like probably 6 miles to the gallon or maybe more. But people don't realize you get 50 to 60 in a Prius if you buy the new one, the plug-in Prius or whatever. But anyway, they're making a comeback. They're basically deciding that they're not giving up on that Prius. In fact, they're not giving up on it. It's still improving the hopes of wooing more buyers. The 2020 Prius Prime was recently announced to get a 5th seat, which could be more practical and attractive to customers, not to mention cab drivers. One of the things I didn't like about the new Prius was that the seats in the back had a hump there, so even if when I used to sleep on the way back,
Yes, I remember
and you couldn't do that with this Prius because they put a hump there, so they're going back to their old ways. So you know the thing is that it's not a dead vehicle yet. They think that they're going to make a comeback, especially with gas prices the way they keep going. So the Prius is still alive and kicking, and I heard rumors that it was going to go away, but it sounded like it's not going to happen. So it was actually by, funny enough, let me find it here. Where's the guy's name? Here it is. Akio Toyoda became the president of his family's car business in 2009.
Oh, wow.
So there is an actual Mr. Toyota. And his sons joined the ranks, and Akio has a few words of advice. I told my son, you don't have to hide the family business because it's part of yourself and part of who you are. If people ask, you can say it. You can take pride in being a Toyota. So
I'm proud to drive a Toyota.
I thought about getting that Toyota, and that was one of the cars I was thinking about when I bought this car. I bought the Tesla because it was all electric. And I'll tell you what, I haven't been to a gas station in forever.
Well, you've stopped at them. You just haven't pulled into the gas pumps.
I did pull into the electric pumps on Saturday. How many times did I stop at an electric pump Saturday?
Oh, my goodness.
It was a bunch of times.
3, 4, 5, maybe?
Now, if I do know that if I wanted to go to Buster's, I want to go with a full charge. I don't want to...
Right.
Because if I left at 225...
and we also know to go straight down 81, not the way we went. Because we went down 15, and...
Well, but that's because we were coming from D.C.
Yeah. So if we go straight down 81, it might be better.
Well, probably, but the thing is, we were at 225 at his house. If I would have charged to the maximum, we would have made it with no problem. I charged at 225.
But we also know that there's a Burger King that has chargings right beside it.
There are a lot of charging stations down in that area, so that was kind of cool because if we had that many charging stations around here, would have been a different game.
Well, I can tell you, the convention that was going on down there after your audition, with all the Teslas right there.
Oh, man.
I think everybody was so quiet.
16 charging stations in that one place. That was the most I'd seen anywhere, but they're out there.
Everybody's either not there or in their car being quiet instead of out talking, and I'm like...
Well, that's because they don't know anything about it. They don't know how to be a team player. So...
Not cool, Mike. Not cool.
So I didn't do that on purpose, actually.
Yes, you did.
I actually didn't do that on purpose. I really didn't.
Yes, you did.
I didn't. Honestly, I really didn't. I just realized what I said when I said it. So, oh yeah, here we go. So Illinois has a crazy credit or a tax on electric vehicles. They're like one of the only states that taxes you for having an electric vehicle.
Then maybe you ought to move to Illinois.
Then I get taxed. Why would I want to do that?
Because.
If you were a team player, you wouldn't have said that. So there's a ridiculous $1,000 EV tax. So it stopped. It stopped the $1,000 tax, and it imposed a $100 EV tax instead. Now, that's, people were trying to be incentivized to buy these vehicles. Why would you buy a vehicle if there's going to be a tax on having an EV? Generally, like, for instance, they give $7,500 if you buy...
Maybe that's... I mean, if you're going to pay $100 tax, but you get a $7,500 tax
rate, it should not be that $7,500 tax is a federal tax.
Oh,
not a local tax. or a state tax. They're to me that was such a stupid thing to have $1,000 tax for a vehicle. You want to get people to use those vehicles, but anyway, the article previously stated the EV tax would be $248. Turns out the bill also hikes the registration fee to $148 for all vehicles, but $248 for EVs specifically. So the EV tax is $100, not $248. So all of their vehicles, they're charging $148 for registration.
Now, what do you pay for your registration? The same as I do?
Same as you do. Yeah.
You just get skimpy on the inspection, that's all.
Something like that. But it's really weird. It says here, Illinois legislation has approved a $45 billion transportation bill over the weekend to help improve the state's infrastructure. Among other things, this bill includes a $100 tax on electric vehicles. The bill also doubles the state gas tax from 19 to 38 cents to help pay for these improvements. The EV tax does not apply to hybrid vehicles or plug-in hybrids. So if you have a hybrid, you don't have to pay the tax. If you have an all-electric car, you have to pay the tax. Even those plug-in hybrids never use...
Maybe the plug-in hybrid, you should pay half of it because you're only half electric.
Well, it says the EV tax does not apply to hybrid vehicles or plug-in hybrids, even if those hybrids never use gasoline. Last month we reported, but anyway, the whole idea of that is they are planning on using it to build electric stations, supposedly. But boy, that's a bad. I mean, our state doesn't have to charge that, so I don't know.
Yet.
I think it's. Well, I don't care if they. I'm not paying it. I'll protest.
You might be the only one.
Yeah, probably. So, all right. Now this is odd. So Tesla has been sued after a 2-year-old accidentally crashes the Model X into his pregnant mother.
Oh my! Why'd you let a 2-year-old drive your car?
So they would run into the pregnant mother. Why else would I do that?
Well, was the baby yours?
We'll never know. Actually, so what happened? Let me see if I can. Maybe there's the Fox videos just don't work. I don't know why they even say that they do, because they don't work.
Because they don't want you to use them?
Well, not just me. I can't. No one can pull it up. Let me see here. I don't see. Oh, here's a clip. Maybe it does work. We'll see if it works.
To Kill a Mockingbird has been nominated for 9 Tony Awards, including Best Actor in a Play, Director of a...
Skip ad. Okay, how do I turn the volume back up? Okay. They're being sued after a 2-year-old drove a Model X into his mother. Mallory Halcourt, the car owner, was pinned against the wall in her garage after her toddler climbed into the front seat of the car, which apparently caused an unexpected acceleration. Now there's things that data retrieved from the vehicle reported an automatic function which allowed the car to manually be placed into drive mode. Now, there's a few things I want to say about this because there's some fallacies here. First off, you know as well as I do, when you drive the Model X, to get out of the Model X, how do you turn the car off?
You have to put it in park.
Right. And if you don't, you'll be buzzed and...
It screams at you.
And you get out of the car, and you know what she said happened was that the vehicle, she got out of the car, and her kid got back in the car, and drove the car into her. 2 years old.
He had to have known how to put the car in gear in order to get it to go forward.
That is correct.
Now, knowing...
But let me ask you this.
Okay.
You put your seatbelt on. When you go forward, what do you got to do?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, you have to push a pedal to
Yeah.
Okay, and then put it in gear.
Right.
Okay. How is this 2-year-old doing all this?
Well, speaking of having young grandkids, okay, I know there were times when Kylie lived with me that we would be waiting on her mom, and Kylie would like to come up in the front seat. Now
They're outside the vehicle.
well, if he got back in,
Okay, first
they
off-
like to play with like the turn signals and pretend they're driving.
That's fine.
So that's probably what he did.
How did the kid get in the car? 2 years old.
If the door was still open.
The door was closed. I'm going to read the information as it came back, because as Tesla is prone to do, they can tell you exactly what order of things happen because there's a computer on there they can read.
Okay.
So here's what it says. Hopefully it'll back up like it's supposed to. Here's what it says. Here's what it says. According to Tesla, here's what it says. According to the lawsuit, stop scrolling up. Okay. The California family has filed a product liability lawsuit against Tesla when a woman was pinned against the garage wall when her 2-year-old son climbed into her parked Model X and accidentally drove it into her December 27, 2018. According to the lawsuit, Mallory of Santa Barbara was 8 months pregnant at the time, which resulted in several broken bones, which led to premature delivery of her second child, who was uninjured in the incident. Harcourt, who took ownership of the car December 23rd, boy, she didn't have it long,
Nope.
claims that she left the Model X parked in the driveway outside of her garage with its powered Falcon Wing rear doors open as she and her son went into their home. The boy then ran back into the car and climbed into the front seat, and she went back to get him. Okay, Harcourt recalls passing in front of the car when it accelerated toward her with the rear doors still open, pushed her through the garage, and held her against the back wall until the neighbors arrived and were able to move it away from her. The Model X does not have start buttons and is active when the key fob is within the range.
So what probably happened was she had the key fob on her, when her son got in there and he's messing around with the levers, pretending he's driving because he's only 2. He must have accidentally had to put it into self-driving mode, and it started going and got her.
Well, here's what in a letter to the family's law firm, Tesla managing counselor Ryan McCarthy said the data retrieved from the car indicates that the driver unbuckled the driver's seat door, or the driver's door was opened and closed. The rear door was opened, and the driver's door was activated by the handle to reopen. So someone actually tried to open the front door. That's what it says, according to the information. The brake pedal was then pushed, which set off a function that automatically closes the driver's door and allowed the car to be manually shift into drive, as the vehicle issued alerts that the doors were still open.
So how could the 2-year-old press the brake pedal?
That's my point. Because you have to press the brake button to get it into gear.
Yes.
The lawsuit argues that the Model X should have additional safety interlocks for assholes who let their kids run free. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what the lawsuit
Put Trish alarms on them.
So I think she's asking for something that she is totally responsible for. If someone took your say they wanted to break into my let's talk about the Prius.
Okay.
It'd be a lot easier for a kid to activate the Prius, although he'd have to hit the start button.
Right.
But start button or the brake button, whatever it is, that brake button, the kid is not tall enough to reach the brake button.
Not 2, no.
And so I say it's negligence on the parents because they didn't watch their own kid, and they want to put it on Tesla because Tesla has some money, not a lot of money. Tesla's not making tons of money yet, but they, if they were stupid enough to let their kid run free, and stupid enough for the kid to get into the driver's seat, that car had to. I mean, for it to go forward, he had to hit the accelerator.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, at least hit the brake to get it going.
Well, you had to have the brake first, but then he had to hit the accelerator. So he had to hit the brake, put it in gear, and hit the accelerator to do all this.
Well, this is something we ought to test out this weekend.
No.
No.
Kids in my car.
No, I wasn't saying with a kid,
Are you going to
dingbat.
play the pregnant person?
No. Even though I look like it.
Well, I can't play the pregnant person.
No, what I was going to say was, well, we can do it like right out here on the road, on your lane.
No.
No, listen.
Vehicle start stop.
Okay.
The Model
We'll
X
have it at
is
a complete
automatically
stop and shut it off.
Ah.
And then just without touching the brake pedal and the door open, put it in gear and see if it moves by itself.
Here's the video of what it takes to drive a Model X.
Start stop. The Model X is automatically ready to drive once the brake is pressed and a valid key fob is detected. Push the shift lever down to shift into the drive gear. Push the lever up to shift into the reverse gear. To shift to park, press the P button on the end of the stalk.
Okay.
The park button automatically engages the parking brake.
So she hopefully
Once the key fob is outside of the range
pushed the park button. I think she didn't ever push the park button. I personally think she got out of the car and she was she didn't turn the car off. And I think that the car was still in gear. And then her kid got in the car and was playing around and got down and pushed the accelerate. Now, I think that's the only thing that could have happened in this particular case. Well, there could be something else I'm not thinking of, but anyway.
of the vehicle. The Model X automatically turns off and walk-away door lock is set to on, also locks. To enable walk-away door lock, go to the vehicle controls in your vehicle settings.
I never knew there was.
To learn more about the Model X, visit tesla.com/Model X.
There you go.
So, as far as I'm concerned, according to this video, I really and the what I know about the Model X, I think there was more negligence on their part than it is on Tesla's part. So, I just think that's somebody looking for a payday. I mean, not that they intentionally hurt themselves, but she is too embarrassed to admit what really happened. So, okay, I'm not going to do this story today, so we'll do that maybe next week, and we'll do that next week. Okay, now we'll move on to, what time is it? What do we got here?
9:22.
Oh, wow. Time's flying. I'm really getting crushed here. All right, let's see here.
But it might be sliding out here in a few minutes.
Slide it on down.
Yep. Because at 4 o'clock
Ease right into it.
comes way too early.
So I guess the Twitch didn't appear to restart. Let me try and restart Twitch. Okay. Oh, there I am. Total views. Okay. And then we got, where are we at? Viewers. Okay. Nah. I kind of bummed about the fact that, ooh, here it is. That's a Blade Runner truck there.
Oh, wow.
That's a different picture than what I saw before. Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to the. All right, I got some. Where do I want to go? I want to go to the main show. Actually, no. Wow, I don't know where to go. I might want to. Oh, my crimes didn't update. Well, guess that means I'm going to go into the main show then, because there were some things I wanted to cover that I put in the crimes section that didn't update for whatever reason. Okay. Unless I put them, maybe I didn't put them in here. Maybe I put them in the other area. How do I update? I never did figure that out. Oh, here we go. Page sync. Nope. Page last. Page. Oh, well, I probably just killed that. All right. Anyway, we'll go back to the main show because I got all kinds of stuff here.
Well, then I think I'm going to scoot on out of here. Yes, I'm going to scoot.
Jeez.
Well, I'm sorry.
Payback. I want some of my zeros back.
You will.
You're not giving me a full show time.
I'm getting older than what I was years ago.
Really? I'm getting younger.
Uh,
Well, at least listen to this one. This one, you'll appreciate this one.
I hope
This
so.
one I did because of you. Not because of you.
What? Gee, thanks.
Not because of you, but because I thought it was funny and that you would find it interesting. Texas, 14-year-old boy miraculously cured of homosexuality after electroshock therapy. What is this world going to?
Seriously?
I'm serious. This is like when the doctors thought that's got to be a disease. We can fix that. This kid's a homosexual if he's a homosexual, and he's probably pretending not to be a homosexual, so you stop shocking him. I'm like amazed that this actually that this was actually an experiment, but he was cured after undergoing an excruciating 18-month-long experimental electroshock therapy. Well, you know what? If I was gay and my parents subjected me to 18 months of electroshock therapy, I would tell them I'm not gay either. I think it's ridiculous. It says he was simply addicted to gay porn. He would masturbate for hours on end and insert any object he could get his hands on in his rectum. Even 17 exorcisms did not help him. Well, geez. You think he might just be gay? I mean, do you really think that you're going to help him by subjecting him to electroshock therapy? They brought back my child, his mother told reporters. He stopped wearing makeup and abandoned his plans to become a hairstylist. He's less active and very quiet. Oh, well, that worked, didn't it?
Maybe he's scared of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's afraid to tell you that he's gay now because it says here through induction, the new technology can transmit high-frequency voltage up to 35,000 volts at one time during an extremely short period of time, calculated in milliseconds. If prolonged, it would cause brain damage. Do you believe that these people...
He'll probably have it if he's survived electrotherapy for 18 months.
Hey, just accept your child the way he is. If he's gay or not, that's on you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not on you. It's him. It's
still your child.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to kill your kid because he says he's gay. That's just and just because you stick things up your butt doesn't necessarily mean you're gay.
What the hell is a colonoscopy?
Yeah, well, that's true. I'm about due for one, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting there, too.
Do women do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I just thought that would be interesting. Now, before you go, I'm going to do this one that you gave me.
Oh, no. Did you have to say that I gave it to you? I mean, come on.
Well, I could have given it to myself.
Well, no.
Man crashes into river after attempting to give himself a blowjob while driving. Okay.
All I do is read the headline. I give the article to you to read.
Yeah, well, I'd like to know how. I'd like to know how he did that. I mean,
Flexibility.
Yeah, it must be. But the steering wheel would be in the way, I would think. I don't know. I just
Maybe
think
he pushed the seat back and has long legs. I don't know.
I don't know either, but that is just... I actually wouldn't mind seeing him do it just because I can't think it's possible. Not that I want to see him do it, but I mean, I would like to see...
Want to crash into the lake?
Well, no. I guess he's not very good at it. He must be... But the thing is, they said... Let me read this again, but I think they said... Let me see here. Anthony Sanders, 47, told police he was attempting to perform oral sex on himself while driving his car when his head apparently got stuck under the steering wheel, thus losing... Now, how do you do that? How do you get your... Either he was really skinny. Maybe he was really skinny.
That's possible.
But I just can't imagine... I can't imagine my head getting under my steering wheel. Even with the adjusting you can do of your steering wheel, there's very little room in there, and the amount of room that you would have to be flat against your stomach to do that. I can't even. I'm trying to picture it. And anyway, the man is recently divorced and suffering from depression, and was found heavily intoxicated and admitting being under the influence of alcohol, crystal meth, and crack cocaine. I think he didn't actually do it, but he wanted to do it. Well, he got his head stuck under the steering wheel. How do you drive with your head stuck under? I mean, I can't.
Well, that's why he wrecked.
But how do you? I mean, you can't even see where you're going.
That's why he wrecked.
My head is so spinning like that. This is just really weird. And the weird part is Anthony Sanders faces accusations of driving under the influence, as well as 16 counts of reckless driving, and could face up to 15 years in jail if found guilty, according to South Carolina laws. This guy has got some serious problems, and it's really sad, but, you know, I guess if he's going to go to jail for 15 years, he'll have a lot of time to figure out how to do it right next time. It's really sad and really weird, but also in the news in the same breath, Saudi Arabia, this guy was an American tourist arrested for refusing to trade his wife to a prince for 45 camels.
Why, he want 46?
No, because that's considered disrespectful not to take the deal. Is that weird or what? I mean, I can't believe. I was wondering whether or not this is a real website, because this just doesn't even sound like it could be a possibility. But yeah, he apparently was thrown in prison in Saudi Arabia because he wouldn't sell his wife. Defaming the reputation of the state of the order of the king, refusing an offer from a Saudi prince to trade his wife for a herd of 45 camels. What are you going to do with 45 camels? That's not even. That's only 2 packs of cigarettes. Now I think my first wife I would have traded for 45 camels. 59-year-old Karam Najibullah, Ford Motor Company executive from Dearborn, and his 27-year-old Saudi wife Aliyah spent the last 2 weeks visiting her family in the city of Abha, located in the southern part of the kingdom. On Wednesday, the couple was invited to a wedding reception where several members of the royal family were also present, including Prince Khalid bin Abdullah Al Saud, a famous horse and camel breeder with a herd including some of the rare specimens worth over $2 million. Oh, maybe I would if they're worth $2 million. I might give me a couple camels for that price.
Oh,
but anyway, worth over 2 million riyals, which is $533,000 each. During their session, Prince Khalid attempted to negotiate the purchase of Mr. Najibullah's wife by offering several of his prized animals, but the American repeatedly declined the prince's offers. When the couple attempted to take their plane back to U.S. this morning, they were arrested by Saudi police, and he was taken in police custody while the whereabouts of his wife remained unknown. The Minister of Justice and President of Supreme Judicial Council, Sheikh Walid bin Mohammed Al Samani, that's a mouthful, justified the arrest and called for exemplary sentence against him. I think we need to get Sheikh Zabala there. Sheikh Zabala could negotiate something. Refusing any demand from a member of the royal family is a serious crime to Saudi citizens, but only 7 Americans have been sentenced to such crimes. I just can't even... I can't believe this is a real story. I can't believe that they arrested him.
Well, get a hold of Sheikh Zabala, get him over there and find out.
I'm thinking that's the situation, because, I mean, that would be... Maybe if he was here, he could tell us. Maybe he'll be in here next week.
Maybe.
And we could talk to him. And
okay.
And I just think it's just insane. If this is a real story, it's insane. Where's Trump now? Trump should be saying something.
Trump's in England.
Let's build a wall against him. You guys can't have anything. Well, we're not going to buy your oil. How about that? Boy, that just it's crazy. It's insane. Anyway, if you're going to go, you can.
Yeah,
you
want to turn me down?
I guess. Jeez.
Sorry.
Anyway, let's see. All right, yeah, I thought you'd find that really interesting, and it just is insane. I think it's really crazy. So, okay, now, Charmin is in the news. They created a roll of toilet paper for millennials.
Don't squeeze the Charmin.
It's really crazy that there is. It's called the Forever Roll. So they came up with this thing where if you've ever felt the hair of fear sitting down on the toilet and realized that you're out of toilet paper, Charmin has a solution. And I think it's a really strange solution, but I kind of like the solution. The Forever Roll comes in two different sizes, the single user and the multi-user. The single user is a 2-ply, 850 sheets per roll. The multi-user is a 2-ply with 1,700 sheets per roll and a 12-inch diameter. So, basically, that's compared to the Mega Roll, which is, I think, what I get. I don't know if I get Charmin or not. I never really thought about that. The Charmin Roll has 284 sheets versus 1,700 sheets or 850 sheets, depending which one. The Forever Roll is available on Charmin's website, but they offer free shipping and a subscription service that delivers 3 rolls to your home every 3 months. The rolls start at $5.49, and Charmin offers starter kits, and that comes with 3 rolls and a toilet paper holder designed to hold the extra large rolls. So if you ever really hated shopping for toilet paper, and who doesn't, that's your solution. So I just think that's kind of funny that that there is a solution for it, and that somebody and actually $5.49 a roll. I don't know that that's a bad deal. That sounds like a pretty good deal. I mean, maybe it's a publicity stunt, but it is out there. And geez, if I can get my toilet paper delivered to me on a regular basis, and I don't have to think about it, I might consider doing that. I may end up being that. I mean, after all, I'm a single guy, so I don't really need to have a lot of toilet paper around. But if I only have to deal with it once every, 3 months or whatever, that'd be cool. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny to hear. And so let me get this done and never run out of toilet paper again. And you could live your life pretty good if that's the situation. So let's see here. All right, next. I wish Trish wouldn't have left, because this is a story I laughed about because I laughed about it because it's really bizarre. FBI seizes over 3,000 penises during a raid at the morgue employee's home. I mean, talk about really strange stories this week. This is definitely not the strange thing to go. FBI made an astonishing discovery this morning while executing a search warrant at a residence of a Houston mortician. And the strangeness was 3,178 embalmed penises. Now, I know a lot of people that I would consider penises, but to have an actual penis, that would be kind of strange. The Federal Bureau of Investigations suspected 54-year-old David Murray, an employee of the Harris County Morgue, of implicating in an organ trafficking network. Investigations said that there were reports of missing organs and body parts. Dozens of agents raided his home in the morning, only to hoping to find his involvement in the crimes. What they found was a lot more disturbing than what they expected. The FBI spokesman, Andy Ramirez, described the scene in an interview on the television. There were shelves everywhere filled with hundreds of glass jars. Each of them contained a penis floating in formaldehyde, or it says formalin. According to the agent, The accused rapidly confessed everything as soon as he was arrested. He explained in a great detail how he had been cutting off cutting off dead men's genital organs and collecting them for more than 10 years. That guy has a lot of problems. It took the FBI more than 7 hours to gather all the organs and other pieces found at the site. So 53 criminal charges have already been filed against Mr. Murray, and hundreds more could be filed in the next couple days. The anonymous FBI source told us that the number of charges could reach 3,000. Dave Murray will remain in custody. So I can't imagine having that much penis anywhere. I think that's just too much. I can't imagine having that in my house, having it even anywhere around my house. That's a little bit too much. I agree, bud. I agree with you. So now Buddy's coming here, and he's going to give his opinion of the situation. But that just blows me away that could even be real. Why would anybody at all need to do that unless they're but I don't know that there's a penis trafficking situation anywhere. I don't know that there's anything. I mean, what can you do with them? It just seems really strange. But I guess there's nothing stranger than some of the people on this planet, so that's kind of weird. Ecobee unveiled its latest Alexa-powered thermostat. I like the Alexa-powered stuff. Like, I can say, turn on my living room lights, and it'll turn my lights on. I can say, turn on my fan, it'll turn on my fan. I can say, change my channel to USA Network, and it'll automatically do that. I like the idea of doing that. I'm just lazy, I guess, but I like the technology. And so it has, on this Ecobee, unveils its latest Alexa-powered smart thermostat. It has a glass touchscreen and works with Spotify Connect. So you got this situation where it's basically a smart thermostat, but you could say set the temperature to 69, and it'll automatically do that. And it's available, I think, I believe it's available at, let's see, I want to say, I know it's on Amazon. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm all about these smart devices because there's so much you can do with them. It makes our lives easier. And it's funny because when we were kids, I think I was probably the equal to the Alexa. My dad would tell me to change the channel, and I'd change the channel. My dad didn't have a remote. Our TV was one of the TVs that if you wanted channel 4, you had to go over there and turn it over to channel 4 because we didn't have remote controls when I was a kid. So it's funny that we see that as a possibility that we now have the technology to do that. So that's the new Ecobee thermostat. Let's see. Oh, this is a strange one. Woman found dead in a trash can. She's been identified. Man, you just never think that it's going to ever end, the craziness of these news stories. Authorities have identified a woman whose body was found wrapped in plastic in a trash can in northeast Philadelphia. You got to really, really hate someone to kill them and then wrap them in plastic and think that that's okay. Kind of makes me sad. But all right, let's see here. Where's it? Oh, there it is. All right, we'll back this up again, and we'll set the volume.
Whose body was found wrapped in a plastic bag inside a trash can on Wednesday. Kioma Deal was discovered on the 4600 block of Leeper Street in Frankfurt. Police tell us tonight her cause of death is still under investigation. Friends and family are looking for answers and for the suspect to surrender if Deal was the victim of foul play.
Well, apparently she was the victim of foul play. She was found in a trash can. That's just so weird. I don't know. I feel really strange about that we have these kind of people out there hurting other people. It's just, there's no reason. There's no reason for it. Just sad that that this is the situation. And we're probably I'm thinking we're probably not going to ever really know what happened to her. Just that they found her in a trash can. It's such an easy thing to hide because where's our proof? Where's our proof on who, on how somebody died? You know, it's hard to figure it out unless she has an ex-lover or something. It's so easy to. Well, on the other hand, though, there's cameras everywhere. There should be a way to figure out how somebody died, rather than. And I'm sure that we're going to find that out. At least we know who it is. We just don't know how she did it or how she died. So, all right. This is I didn't want to. I wanted Trish to be here for this one because this was one we talked about over the weekend. As most of us know, Sears was in serious trouble. Sears had bought Kmart and they were in serious trouble before they bought Kmart. And apparently, Sears is going to be back. And we noticed it this weekend that there was a Sears that was open and doing business. It says here, former Sears Holdings CEO Eddie Lampert, now I talked about this I think a couple months ago, says he will buy the rest of Sears Hometown and Outlets, reuniting 7 years later with Sears and Kmart. Lampert Transform Holdco will purchase the remaining 42% of the company, which counts for over 600 stores and posted $1.4 billion last year. The announcement follows reports that Lampert recently tried to get out of paying $43 million owed in severance to former employees. So that's kind of an interesting thing because I really thought that Sears was going to be going away because it just has been fighting bankruptcy several times in the past, I'd say 10 years. But maybe he'll be able to pull it out. I mean, but it's still got the problem. It's funny because Sears was the original mail order place. You could buy a car at Sears at one time. You could buy just about anything you wanted at Sears. But it doesn't seem to be going away. So let's see what happens if Eddie Lampert pulls this off. He could definitely bring this back together. But I just think that the whole idea of Sears surviving the Amazon stuff, it's crazy to think that they're going to be able to do this. So I might be wrong, but here's a story of the downfall of Sears, according to people that know, and that would be not me, or not. You know, it just is a really strange thing to think about that was the biggest company around when I was a kid, and now, you know, where are they now? They're dying. But here's the story.
Bankruptcy. It means more stores will be closing and more people will be out of work. Sales have plunged 60%.
Over the last few decades, there have been some key steps that have dramatically contributed to the downfall of Sears. My name is Lynn. I've worked for Sears for 40 years.
They had a real opportunity to get out in front of the Amazons of the world.
That's the thing that bothers me, or that I think about a lot, is that they were there. They had the opportunity. They could have done what was needed to survive, but they didn't have the foresight to do that. And so here they are as, you know, the Amazon's taken over the world basically, but they could have been Amazon if they wanted to be, because they were the ones that basically created everything that was what retail became, and boom, all of a sudden they're in financial devastation.
But it was an opportunity that was missed. My name is Frank DeSantis. I worked for Sears for 36 years.
What was special about Sears is that you could trust them. My name is Marnie. I've been shopping at Sears for 46 years.
The downfall, told from the inside. See, I just wonder.
Starting in the early 80s, Sears diversified and also started selling stocks.
The Sears Financial Network. Trust us to make it work.
It didn't work because if you think about who the core customer was for Sears at the time, they didn't have hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to actually invest.
I can really relate to not buying stocks in Sears. One of the reasons why I was a Sears customer is because I didn't have a lot of money. At that time I was a single mom and just starting out on my own. So beyond buying.
See, this is the weird part for me, is that when I was a kid, Sears was the upper echelon, because you had Kmart, that was the lower echelon. You had some of the other stores out there. There was like Sears, and then there was J.C. Penney's was above Sears, but below Sears was like Kmart and stuff like that. So the people were going to places like Kmart for the lower end, and people going to the higher end, which was the J.C. Penney's, the Macy's, the upper echelon of stuff, the Bon-Ton and stuff like that. But the Sears was never, in my eyes, was never really the what I would consider the high end, at least the way I look at it. I just never thought of them as the high end.
My bargain, that's all I could afford.
Number two of why it didn't really work was it took the focus of the senior executives off of the core business, which was retailing.
Unfortunately, financial analysts really did not know how to analyze the company's performance. It was no longer just a retail, nor was it really a financial services company. The shareholder value never materialized the way it was strategically planned to.
That's probably true. And they were the big catalog.
In 1993, Sears stopped publishing its major catalog, and that was a very big deal at the time.
It's here, the new Sears Wish Book. And oh, what a wish book.
Even though the catalog business was unprofitable for more than a decade, there was a lot of consternation about closing it because the customer identified so much with that big catalog.
For me personally, it was a big disappointment. It was part of my history, my tradition, my shopping patterns. Being in the rural area when I did use the catalog was essential to have it, because
that's the thing also that is interesting too, is because a lot of companies got rid of the catalog once the internet started, but many of them, Provantage, I know, still has a catalog. So does Fingerhut still has a catalog. Even in 2019, they have catalogs that people can look at. People like to turn pages, but catalogs are also very expensive. And if you don't have a web presence, which they wouldn't have had in the 90s probably, because the internet was just really starting to get off its and running. So they started probably a little early to get rid of the catalogs, and that might have been a major thing. But today, if they were to do it, it may not be as major. Because like Fingerhut, they do their business, they're mostly mail order. They do their business through a lot of business through the catalog, but they also have the website to complement it. And they do charge you for the catalog now, I believe. I don't think it's free anymore. So that's something to think about. But they truly made a mistake by maybe getting rid of their catalog so early in their cycle.
It's the only way you could shop.
It wasn't just the sentimental value of the catalog. It enabled Sears to have data on the spending habits of these consumers, pretty much the kinds of data that companies like an Amazon and a Google and Facebook today are leveraging and monetizing. And Sears had this. In the early 90s, Sears was going through another transition.
The softer side of Sears was a very successful marketing campaign.
You'll be the first place. I'll always try, 'cause hardware now has a softer side. Come see the softer side of Sears.
The reason it was so unique at the time is because it directly appealed to the female shopper. And originally, that softer side campaign did boost revenues. But what was also going on in the 90s was specialty stores. Think about the Gap in the 90s. It was so cool to say, oh yeah, I bought my jeans at the Gap. So how many people do you know that thought it was hip and cool to say, oh, I bought my dress at Sears Roebuck and Company? Not very many, unfortunately.
The other thing about Sears was that they had exclusives, and they did smart things like have those exclusive, like Craftsman, for instance, and they ended up, their Craftsmans are now other places, so they ended up losing all those exclusives, because now you can buy Craftsman tools other places that you couldn't previously buy them from. And I used to think Craftsman had the greatest stuff, because as a guy, I mean, they were saying as a woman you could get your clothes there and stuff, but as a guy there was much more to offer the guys as the tools and the accessories and stuff like that grew. They should have grown too, but unfortunately they didn't, and I think that really ultimately led to their demise. But this goes on and talks about all the failures that they did to get to where they are, and it's a real shame, because we grew up to seeing the Sears, and we're not going to see Sears survive anymore. I think I mean, I realize that they want to try to save it, but I don't know. I just don't think that that's going to be, they're not going to be able to probably bring it back, especially with Amazon, to be able to trust Sears after all these years of being in bankruptcy and all that stuff. It's going to be really kind of difficult to bring that back. So I just think it's a shame in a lot of ways that they're not, that we're going to lose a legacy, but it happens. I mean, we've lost it in a lot of stores, like Radio Shack is another one that we lost that we should have never lost. But, here's another thing that I think I'm going to end on this. We talked about these burgers last week, or are they burgers? They're veggie burgers, if you want to call them that. Nestle is gearing up to launch its own plant-based burger in the U.S. Nestle's Sweet Earth brand will launch a plant-based burger this fall. The world's largest food company sells a soy-based vegan burger in Europe, but on Sweet Earth's version is going to be pea-based. Beyond Meat uses a pea protein in its burger, while Impossible Foods' vegan burger is soy-based. So I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind trying it. I would like to see if this is a good burger. I mean, I would switch to a non-meat burger if it tastes good. I just wonder if it is a good burger or not, because a lot of these vegans tell you that this stuff is good, but it's not nearly as good as what we expect it to be when it comes right down to it. I think they really exaggerate how good it is. And I mean, like my first wife used to make a veggie, not a veggie, a pizza out of cauliflower. And she used to say, "Oh yeah, it tastes just like, like a pizza." No, it doesn't really taste like a pizza. It was passable, but it wasn't just like a pizza. So it's not really the same. But anyway, and I'd like to see it. If it's good, I'd go for it. I'd try it. But it's hard to say. This won't be the last one. KFC's in the news, and they are going to do the opposite of the veggie burger. They're going to start selling you fried chicken skin. So if, of course, what's the best part of the chicken? It's usually when it's fried, it would be the fried chicken. The skin is usually the best part of the fried chicken. So, it might be a little less healthy than some things, but people will eat it. People enjoy the taste of KFC's fried chicken skin, can get all the skin without having to deal with the leftover chicken meat. Various international locations are starting to sell bags of chicken skins. People have often joked about wanting to eat the skin off the famous chicken, and now KFC's making the dream the reality. You can buy just the chicken skin. The unusual menu item was first announced on KFC's Indonesia web page, Twitter page. According to the translation of the post, the item was set to appear at 6 KFCs in Indonesia: Salemba, Sideng, Kernang, Kalimalang, and Kelapa Gading. Initially, it seemed fried chicken skin would be added to the international food list, limited only to the single region. Then several food blogs on Facebook announced the KFC in Thailand were also carrying fried chicken skin. Based on replies to the post, it appeared that it would be available in Bangkok. Then customers who had the chance to try the skins described it as salty and different from what you would expect. And many venues selling it had sold out due to the high demand. I don't know if America's ready for this, because this is just the opposite of what everybody is told that they should need. But I guess we're going to find out whether or not it's doable or not. So on that, I am going to get done and get out of here, and that's what I got to say about that. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I will hopefully talk to you guys next week. And here we go.
We still